Hi all, I'm Matt Kern, one of the head TAs for 272, and I'm going to get you started off today by introducing some of the characters. So over here we have our database. Now it's important to remember databases only speak SQL. They don't speak Ruby or anything else, so you have to remember always speak to databases in SQL. Now over here we also have two models. We have our student model and our faculty model. They're going to be in charge of all of the business logic. They know how to do things. We'll come over to the other side of the room, and we see two controllers, the student's controller and the faculty's controller. Remember, they're going to be in charge of the whole operation. They know what's going on everywhere. And we've got two views. We've got views for the faculty and views for the students, and they are good at looking good. Last but not least, we'll come over to our dispatcher. Now the dispatcher is in charge of getting the ball rolling. They start everything off for us.
All right, so I'm the user, and I actually want this URL from the system. So I'm going to give this URL to dispatcher, and it's, as you can see, localhost :3000 student/2 and an HTTP verb of get. So I'll give this now to dispatcher, and he'll get the ball rolling for our activity. All right, dispatcher, this is what I want.
Let's see. What can I do with students in an ID of 2? Looks like I can do lines 15, 16, or 17. But I know my verb is get, so it looks like line 15. I will go to the student's controller and do the show action. You are the controller. Perform a show request for student ID 2.
Thank you, dispatcher. So my show action says, instruct the student model to execute the find record by ID method for the given ID and return the data. Student model, can you find the current record for ID number 2?
Sure. Find record by ID 2. Go to database and execute the SQL command. All right.
Welcome to the database. What can I do for you today?
Hi. I need the students row 2. Oh, that's right. I need to speak SQL because databases only speak SQL. Select star from students where ID equals 2.
Students, ID equals 2. Alrighty. Oops. Here's your order. Thank you for using the database.
Thank you. Give it back to the controller.
Thank you, model. So next, I have to call the student's view by the same name as the method name and give it the data from the model. Here you go, student view. Oh wait, I totally forgot to specify the template. Well, since I'm coming from the show action, you should use the show template.
Thank you.
Now we see that the code that was generated by the student view is displayed in the web browser itself. We get the basic first name and last name Chin, credits 37, pretty much just as we expected to get. In fact, if I go even further, I look at not just what is rendered in the browser, but I look at the actual page source itself, I can see that the structure of this page looks pretty much like what we're seeing in the student view pattern. There's some ERB tags, and we're going to talk about that next class some more. But basically, we can see the parallels that, in fact, what we did generated this code, which in fact generated the output for our user.
Now that last time went really well. This time I'm making another request to the system. I would like to get the page at faculties ID 3 for edit. So this is what I want. This is a request I'm making. Of course, it's also a get verb. I'm going to make this request to dispatcher, and let's see if we can do this again.
With faculties 3 and edit, what can I do? Looks like this one's easy. There's only one. Line 7, I can go to the faculties controller and do the edit option. You are the controller. Edit faculty ID 3.
Thank you. So, edit, instruct the faculty model to execute the find record by ID method for the given ID and return the data. Okay, faculty model, I want you to execute the find record by ID method for ID 3.
Find record by ID with 3. Go to DB and execute the SQL command.
Welcome to the database. What can I do for you today?
Hi. Select star from faculties where ID equals 3.
Faculty ID equals 3. Here's your order.
Thank you.
Thank you for using the database.
Alright, thank you. Call faculty's view by same name as method and give it data from the model. Since I'm coming from the edit method, use this data for the edit view.
You have to hold it backside.
Looking at the faculty view, we see that the page code that was generated actually would render for us a nice form here where we can go ahead and edit Heidi Byrne from the math department. She's a professor. We can update that form and this would be handled. And in fact, if I go further and I look at the actual page source itself, we see at the top of this here, we have the form tags, we have the fields here for first name and the value for first name, last name, value for last name, etc. So in fact, what we see is the same kind of parallels between the code that was generated by our exercise and what is being rendered on our page.
Feel the MVC flow through your application. Yes!